Welcome to Garden Wise Adventures. My name is Molly, and today I wanted to do another video on what is blooming in my drought tolerant yard. Now it's the end of August, so this is the August blooms. There's a lot going on and I wanted to quickly show you what's blooming. Now I just wanted to start on the south side of my house, and the hydrangeas are blooming beautifully. This is Hydrangea paniculata Little Lime Punch. And they start out as green, and this older one, the older bloom, is now starting to turn white. We have another Hydrangea paniculata. This is a strawberry vanilla. And as you can see, the flowers are starting to get a little bit of a pink hue at the base. So the base will progressively turn darker pink, and then the top will stay kind of a cream color. Now last year it did not change color, but this year it looks like it might. But it's glorious. I think it's really beautiful. Now we have two different types of butterfly bush. This is a Pugster butterfly bush, and this one's called Amethyst. Now I don't deadhead these. I want them to be a little bit easier maintenance, and it'll continue blooming without deadheading, but it might look a little bit tidier if you do deadhead it. So as you can see, we've got some dead blooms and some live blooms, little buds that are just starting, and this will bloom all the way through the end of the year. Now this is my chase tree that was beautiful, that was in full bloom in my July video on what was blooming, but we still are getting little tiny areas of bloom that are coming through. And it'll continue like this until November. All the new growth tips will have blooms on them. So once again, this is a chase tree or Vitex agnus castus. Now down below we have our moonshine yarrow, and it is still blooming. We've got new buds, and I have deadheaded these a little bit because the dead flower stalks are really not attractive. Another one that I was really excited about, this one is a platinum sage. And as you can see, it's got just this beautiful little blue bloom stalk. This is the butterfly bush Pugster blue. This is my favorite one. I love the blue color of these. And this is my glorious summer storm hibiscus. So it's a hardy hibiscus. It's got the darker leaf. This beautiful, beautiful, almost dinner plate sized flower. Absolutely gorgeous, and it's pink. Now my fall flowers are starting to come into bloom. This is, and I can't remember the name of it, but it's a sedum. It's a variety of sedum that's going to have cream and pink flowers on it. But it is the earliest one to start blooming. And we've got a few early mums that are starting. This has buds everywhere. You can see they're more mature towards the front. So we're going to get bloom all the way through fall. Another one of my favorites is the black-eyed Susan. So the black-eyed Susans, I probably need to move them out a little bit more, but I have them all the way around this blue spruce. So let me show you the other side here. And we have a little grouping of them peeking out here. I think they're so pretty. I love these black-eyed Susans. So the Zauschneria or Hummingbird Mint is still blooming absolutely beautifully, a little bit heavier than it was in the last video. The Dianthus has not quit blooming since I planted it in April, and I think this is just a pretty, pretty little plant. I've also not deadheaded it since it started blooming. So you can see that this is one Dianthus where deadheading is not necessary. We've got another little blue platinum sage. This is Oregano Drops of Jupiter. It's also blooming. And this is an Autumn Joy Sedum. We're starting to get little hints of color in the buds, and these will open up and it'll bloom through the end of the year. The Sundancer daisies have not slowed down in the slightest. They're absolutely gorgeous. And it seems like all the spent blooms seem to just hang down a little bit further, so you don't see them as much. So I haven't really deadheaded these either, and they've been blooming since April. As for annuals, we've got the Sweet Alyssum. These are the purple ones, the Sweet Alyssum, both the ones that have reseeded themselves, like these two, and the ones that I planted from a nursery. They have not stopped blooming, and they just keep, and they're just going. I absolutely love them. They add a lot of color and texture to the garden. Now I think this area here has changed the most. This is all my little annuals. It's cooled down quite a bit, so the nasturtium has really taken off. The nasturtium is gorgeous. The snapdragons have not stopped blooming. They just keep going and going, and I'm going to stop deadheading them now and let them go to seed. In the back, we've got the Macarena zinnias. We've got a little lime tidbit, which is down there at the bottom. That's a hydrangea. And the catmint is being eaten up by the nasturtiums. So this annual area has filled in quite a bit. And I really like how the Macarena zinnias have different colors through each one of them. This one's not Macarena. This is probably one of the Queen Lime varieties, and for some reason it's just staying green. But we've got this brilliant orange, we've got a red, and then a red tipped with yellow. This is an Agastache, another Hummingbird Mint, and it's been drawing in hummingbirds like crazy. It is absolutely gorgeous. So it started blooming about 2 weeks ago, and it's probably got another couple of weeks. The bloom period isn't very long, but it is glorious when it happens. This is a Penstemon called Rock Candy, and it's bloomed most of the year. It just keeps going. Here's another one over here. Look how gorgeous that is. I really, really like this variety of Penstemon. Now I have heard it may not be completely winter hardy for our area, so I'm really hoping that it's going to survive our winters. This is another little Penstemon that's just ending its bloom. This one is a pine leaf Penstemon with the orange color. There it is there with the blooms. The hummingbirds love this too, and this will spread to about 2 feet wide. So I'm really excited to see how they do next year. I actually got some more. Another moonshine yarrow that is blooming like crazy, as are the marigolds in my green stock. Now another one that I've been really surprised about are these little violets. They have been blooming. This one looks pretty bad, but it's still blooming. They've been blooming all through the heat of the summer, and they should have died because they like cooler weather. We've got another sedum, I don't know the name, but it's got a darker color flower that's ready to come out and a darker green leaf, but it's not as dark as this one over here. This one's going to have light pink buds, but it's got the really dark leaf, so this is another sedum. The purple cone flowers are just about ready to be done. They've been hauling in pollinators like crazy. I'll probably deadhead most of them and just leave a few up for seed for the birds. These spread like crazy, all of these. I only had one plant 2 years ago, and all of these have spread by seed all the way through my flower beds. I've been pulling them out everywhere. So I really don't like to let them go to seed too much, but they really have put on a beautiful show this year. Now this is my new, and the color is kind of a little odd on it because of the lighting. Let me go this way. This is one of my new hardy hibiscus, and it's called Starry Night. And I think it's gorgeous. It's a little more pink than the one on the other side of the property, but it's got the red center, the dark leaves. I think it's beautiful. Can't wait to see this one grow bigger next year. So this is another hardy hibiscus. It's a summer spice cordon blue. It's really pretty. Another one that is like this called blue brulee. Here's another one of the older blooms that you can see a little bit better. So it has definitely got a blue tinge with the red center, and I think it's gorgeous. So I wanted to kind of give you a quick walkthrough so you can see all of the flowers that are blooming together. So this patch of comb flower does end a little bit earlier than the other one. I live on a corner here. We've got a new Pugster blue down here that I purchased, that I planted just a little while ago. We've got another platinum sage. We'll probably not let the alyssum grow around these next year. We'll pull these out next year. So as you can see, there is a lot still in bloom in August. And let's show you the backyard really quick. Now I spent a lot of time working on the front yard this year, so I didn't plant as many of the annual flowers or the perennial flowers in the back. I'm also going to be adding more trees to my food forest. As you can see, they've grown in quite a bit. Let's show you a little bit of what's blooming back here, even though it's not a lot. This is one that I'm excited about. This is an agastache. This is a licorice mint. And look at the really pretty blooms on there. Now, the fun story about this one is I purchased a plant and planted it in my garden beds over there about 10 years ago. And they reseeded themselves and came back year after year for probably, probably 5 years. And then they slowly started to peter out. And I haven't seen any for the last 2 years. This whole area used to be lawn, but now all of a sudden we've got a little seedling started here. So what I'm going to do is allow this to self-seed and start a new patch of licorice mint. These are my Hydrangea macrophyllus. The new blooms are starting to fade out and we're starting to get the fall color. So they turn green. So actually first they're pink. We've got a new bud right there that'll be bright pink. I'll show you my other one later that has newer buds. But they start out as pink. Then they turn green like the one below. And then by fall, they'll be this kind of beautiful red color. You know, you can see the start, you can see the changes start there. And then all the leaves will change to a red too. So it's really beautiful in the fall. Here's one that has newer blooms. So look how gorgeous those blooms are. Here's a newer one. And here's one changing to the fall color. Another one that has bloomed all year that I didn't focus on, that I didn't show you in the July video, it's my lamium. And the pretty purple blooms just are here all year long. And I think they're really pretty with the variegated leaves. Another one that blooms. So the blooms aren't gorgeous, but they bring in a lot of pollinators. This is a winter savory, and it blooms for about a month out of the year. This is a very easy edible herb. You can use it in meats, and you can use it with meat and stews and beans. It's kind of like a really strong flavored thyme, but it brings in pollinators like crazy. The calendulas in all their varieties are blooming. Got a little white one over here, along with more marigolds. And we've got our zinnias. So this is the Queen Lime series. All of the ones in the garden beds are the Queen Lime series. So this is Queen Lime Blush. They're really, really pretty. This is Queen Lime Red. And my surprise favorite is the Queen Lime Orange. Look how beautiful these blooms are. Look at this one up here. They are absolutely gorgeous. These are the salvias that just have reseeded themselves up between my garden beds, and they're on their third bloom. I deadhead back between each bloom, and this is their third bloom. And we've got borage. Let me show you the last stand of zinnias and then we'll be done. And on the way to show you the last zinnias, this is just a different kind of calendula. It's got an antique look to it. So here are my zinnias in the back. I just have them in my sweet potato bed. And it's a mix of colors. So these are Lilliput zinnias. So they stay a little bit on the shorter side, and the flowers are a little bit smaller, and they come out in different colors. So I think these are just a lot of fun and really cute. Look at all the colors on the side. And then we've got them coming out between the squash here too. Now I said at the beginning of this video that these are flowers that are blooming in my drought-tolerant yard in August. And I showed you a lot of annual flowers also. So the way you can grow annual flowers in a drought-tolerant yard is to hydrazone them near plants that also end up getting more water. For example, a lot of my annuals, if you would have noticed, they are in my garden beds. So they tolerate the same amount of water as my veggies, so I can plant annuals there. I also showed you the annuals in the front of my house, and they are right there by my hose bib, all grouped together. So they do get a little bit more water than the rest of my plants. I water those around 3 times a week. The alyssum and the strawberries in my front yard, I water twice a week, and I water those by hand. And then the rest of the plants get watered every 2 weeks. I'm going to see if I can stretch those out to once a month, because they all are very, very drought tolerant. Now I'd love to hear what you're growing and what's flowering on your property. I have to say my favorite right now in August is the big, huge dinner plate hibiscus, the hardy hibiscus. And I'd love to know if you have favorite varieties of those that you've been growing. Now I hope this video has been helpful to you. If my videos are helpful, please like and subscribe, share them with your friends, and go have a wonderful garden adventure.